He not only dreamed of it, he bought a vineyard as a sign, as a dream of hope. Paul in the New Testament had a dream of sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ not only with those Jewish people of which he was a part, but with all of God's children. John in Revelation that we just read dreamed of a new heaven and a new earth. But dreams have not been limited to biblical time. Martin Luther, when the church was at one of its historical low points, had a dream of a new church, had a dream of grace, had a dream of God's working in the church. John Wesley had a dream of a church for all people. 200 plus years ago, circuit-riding preachers in this very area set out across this land with a dream of the transforming power and grace of the gospel, of changing a nation and bringing people into faith, and they did. Martin Luther King had a dream. He dreamed of a day of racial harmony, and we are taking baby steps towards that. Have we lost our ability to dream? I wrestled with the title for this sermon. I was hesitant to say the gift of dreaming, because dreaming has a negative connotation, a connotation of escaping. And if you're the boss and you walk in on someone whose eyes are closed and they're supposed to be working, you're going to say, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be working, not dreaming." So I used the word imagination. If I had more courage, it would have been dreams. Dreams can be an escape. But dreams can be much more than that. They can be the door that we walk through to the future. Or dreams can be a retreat into the comfort of the past and a vision of what used to be but isn't today. There is tremendous power in dreams. Albert Einstein, that brain of a scientist who introduced us to things that I don't even begin to understand, said imagination is more important than knowledge. And I think he had a hold of the fact that imagination leads to more knowledge for you ask the right questions. One of the great playwright George Bernard Shaw's characters said, "You see things and you say, why? But I dream things that never were, and I say, why not?" John F. Kennedy said, "We need men and women who can dream of things that never were." Thomas Friedman, that columnist, recently retired, in his insightful book where he discusses the impact of technology, and the title is "The World is Flat," concludes with a chapter on imagination, the power to dream. What are we going to do with all this technology? And he dreamed, and he dreamed. I don't see enough dreamers in the church today. And I'm not just talking about the issues that have been before the General Conference. I'm talking about us as followers of Jesus Christ seemingly have lost some of that ability to dream. The church, at its best, should be a place where people can come and dream. People can ask, why not? I'm going to suggest there are a couple of dream killers. One is looking back. And having preached not too long ago a sermon here on tradition where I held up the power of tradition and the power of the past and the power of history and being a history nut myself, it's hard to say this, but the reality is dreams are killed if we're always looking backward. Friedman again said, "One thing that tells me a lot about a company," and he could say church, "that it may be in trouble when they tell me how good things were in the past." You don't want to forget your past. You don't want to forget your identity. You don't want to ignore the past, but you want to learn from it. But you are in trouble if you're walking forward looking to the past, or if you're looking back and trying to walk. Friedman says, does your society, and I would add church, have more memories than dreams, or more dreams than memories? That's a difficult statement living in this part of the country. For the past for Flint and this community was one when we were nationally and internationally recognized as a model company, and then something went with the auto second dream killer is looking only at the moment, of becoming so focused on the moment and the issues that we have right now that we lose sight of the future. It's especially dangerous in times of crisis, and I would say that the church, especially in America, is in a time like that. We rob Peter to pay Paul. We don't buy new tires because you need the money for gas and you're not sure the car will last that long. Our energy is all spent on the moment and we don't see a future. In a religious community, we seem to either be looking back at the good old days or fiercely defending our religious turf and fighting battles with others who are defending their turf. Should not the church be a place for dreamers? A place where we can dream what could be. A place where dreams are launched and nurtured. John Henry Newman offered some practical evangelistic advice when he wrote, "The heart is commonly reached not through reason but through imagination." If we lived out our dreams of faith, our faith would be more appealing than our arguments of truth. As a people who have been transformed by the miraculous message of Easter, should we not be dreamers? Should we not face the world with a dream for a better day? With a dream of peace rather than war? With a dream of forgiveness rather than revenge? With a dream of grace rather than pain? With a dream of hope rather than resignation? And I go back to Revelation, the dream that the Apostle John had. I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things passed away, and the home of God is with mortals, and he will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them. Is he not only sharing a dream, but giving us the outline of a dream? What are we to dream for? A new heaven. And that doesn't mean just pearly gates and silver and gold. Is not the writer challenging us to think of a new way of communicating with God, a new relationship with God, a new walk in the Garden of Eden with God, a new way of facing the challenges that are before us? And he said, dream of a new heaven and a new earth. It's not a new earth. The emphasis on the relationship that we have with each other. Are there new ways that we can communicate and relate to each other? A new way of facing the challenges of life together. And then the third verse of that powerful passage. And God will dwell with them as their God, and they will be his, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them. If I had the power to give all of us, and I'm speaking not only of us who are here, but all of God's children in one thing, and certainly myself, that would be the power to dream. To dream of what God can do in our midst. To dream of a new day, when relationships are repaired, when understandings of grace triumph over the pain that we are experiencing. Take some time this week and allow God's Spirit to launch you on a dream. Be ready for the ride, because it'll be a real ride. To God be the glory.